What was your favorite cartoon that you worked on?
Oh, you know, actually, it's not as hard to answer as I thought it would be. But it's for a kind of a quirky reason. There was a show that we did that's hardly ever on television. It was called What a Nightmare, Gerald Brown.
There you go. She said that's everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
So, and why?
Well, for myself, actually, there's more than one reason, but the reason that I usually give is at the time we were making that show, my wife and I were guest hosting Japanese foreign exchange students at our house. And so as part of their time here, I would bring the group of them into the studio and give them a little tour of the studio, and then we'd sit down and watch a cartoon. And that cartoon was so easy for them to watch because it didn't have a lot of dialogue in it. It was mostly piano. And they, they just loved it.
Well, there's quite a character arc in that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think there's probably more of a character arc in that story than maybe any other story in all of the specials. Is that fair to say?
It has a very different look, too. And part of that's because Tom Kudis did a lot of the backgrounds for it. Designed a lot of the look of it. But, just the story itself is quite a departure from what you usually see with Schultz's stories. Although Snoopy did go to the Olympics. And the moon.
And the moon, yes, which is all plastered through the hallway because Bill really loved that. That whole
he liked going to the launches. He and Helen would both go to NASA, the launches.
Did he do that before they did the special?
No. It was, in doing the special, they invited him, I guess, as research. And then I guess it was just an open invitation after that, so he kept going.
So you are still creating work for the studio because you do the limited editions. You do. Can you talk a little bit about how you approach that and the process?
I have no idea.
I mean, how does it work? You guys pick out scenes, and then you do research on the history of it. And then you do the backgrounds for them, yeah?
Well, the first one we did was Snoopy's dogfight.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And he had a ball. That's right. I get these layout drawings, and they have Post-it notes all over it with these little storyboards. It was great. And then I started to think, how are we going to produce this?
It was huge.
It was huge. It was 4 different cell setups, and then it kind of strung along with little storyboards.
Like Citizen Kane to me.
And it's like, how are we going to produce this? So we went back to a more traditional route and simplified. Yeah. Did a pan with the 3 poses of Snoopy, and then we did his
Yeah, I got in a little storyboard.
a storyboard. Picked his favorites out of all those Post-it notes.
But you gave me the idea because you had done these. I wish I could take the camera and show you because
we're
they're hung
going.
up on the wall.
We're going to go.
There are several examples of framed artwork where you have a storyboard panel, and then you have a layout drawing of that sequence from the storyboard, and then you have the background with the final scene from that layout. And so you can see not only the progression of the development of the film, but you can also see the hand of the different artists that worked on it and what they contributed to it. So I saw that and I just really loved it, and so I wanted to try and mimic that.
And I also think it's important, as far as collectors, they get started buying a limited edition. They want the cell setup. But as they learn about how that art came to the screen, storyboarding and all that, they've come to want more than just a cell.
To see the story, to see the visual story, to see the artistic story.
There's a story behind that story. So I really love it, and Snoopy's audition, which was the second one we did, he split the screen and we have the storyboards up at the top and then the cell, which is the next moment out of that storyboard, and then he finished the scene with a second storyboard. And it was great because it's Snoopy doing all the animals from the Christmas special. Yeah. And, you know, and I love that piece because you don't have to necessarily celebrate Christmas to understand
Right.
the humor that went through him climbing up on Lucy's head, becoming a vulture.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorites.
And it's pure Schultz. I mean, all of that stuff is in those books that he did a long time ago.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the integrity of Schultz's original work is so perfectly in sync with the specials. I think that Bill was really, really great at translating those, because my dad read them when he was a kid, and he loves the specials. He just loves them, and he comes from someone who read Schultz's stuff. So the fact that they can actually that all of the fans of the strips really took to and embraced the animation is such a testament to not just Bill, but all of the animators that worked with him. I wanted to ask you about something, which is why I got these. Excuse me. I love these, and I wanted you, if you could talk a little bit about some of these.
Oh, the model sheets?
The model sheets are so wonderful. You can talk a little bit about some of these. So can you just go through them a tad and just explain, because I'm taking pictures of them and I'll be showing a little bit of them as we're talking.
Well, what's funny to me now, although I thought very seriously about it at the time, but I look at this and it looks like all the characters are almost all the same size. But in fact, they are kind of laid out in order of their height. And they do get a little bit shorter until you get to Snoopy, who's much shorter.
Where's Woodstock?
Yeah. But yeah, size comparison chart is just a really handy thing to have. But yeah, it makes me laugh because stuff that I work on now, they're radically different sizes and stuff. They're not so close. But they were all kids.
And when you look at these kinds of things, this one that has all of the characters. So how did you use some of these? Describe a little bit about how you used some of these model sheets.
Well, for instance, Schroeder sitting. Schultz had a particular style, and I want to say that I believe Frank Smith did most, if not all, of these model drawings, and he had a wonderful ability to capture Schultz's way of drawing, style of drawing. So these really look almost identical to Schultz's drawings. So anyway, I would particularly have trouble with Schroeder when he was sitting at the piano, because there's this tight compression, his hands and his feet and his knees, and the weird way that the pants become kind of an oval, and then his shirt and his giant head, and
Which
so
I'd never thought about before, but hence the name. Yeah.
But so that would be one that I would particularly be going back and forth to the model sheet for. Others, it would be for like expressions, getting an expression that he had captured on Sally in this case, or Linus. It's that little sort of wiggly mouth. Just
I just think they're so wonderful to look through all of those.
yeah.
So did you ever have a favorite character?
Oh, I think.
Everyone's favorite is Snoopy?
Besides Snoopy. Yeah.
Well,
I think
Woodstock is my
Linus.
favorite, actually.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
So,
I like 'em
Linus?
all. Yeah, I always liked Linus when I was a kid.
Because of his philosophy?
I guess so, because he had some good lines.
He always had the lines. Although, I think Peppermint Patty had a lot of really good zinger kind of
Yeah.
She just, things you wouldn't expect to have somebody say, she would come out with.
Well, believe it or not, because of my age, she came in later. She was not. I did not see or read a lot of strips with Peppermint Patty when I was a kid. It wasn't until later on that she started showing up in the strips.
Or Franklin wasn't in until really late too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Franklin too.
And Marcy.
Yeah,
As a
Marcy was
result.
great.
Eudora.
I don't even know who Eudora is.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I mean, I do now, but I'm like, I didn't know she had a name.
I always thought she was French, but what do I know?
Yeah.
Just one of the neighborhood kids.
I like the girl with the naturally curly red hair.
Frida.
Yeah, Frida.
I love Frida.
Yeah, me too.
And Needles, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Needles is the
Spike.
best.
Yeah.
Oh, Spike, right. He's
Yeah.
from Needles,
Yes.
it's Spike. I like that Spike always looks high.
I never thought of that.
He always looks like he's been smoking pot.
I always thought he looked sleepy.
Well,
But-
and/or.
Yeah, I guess it follows.
Yeah. So, thank you for talking a little bit about the history and about what you've been doing.
Sure.
And working with Bill and being an animator. What do you think is the most fulfilling thing about being an animator? The most fulfilling?
Get paid to draw.
You've been paid to draw.
Yeah, well, I was driving around town a few weeks back, and of course there are several young kids I live in a cul-de-sac, and there are several young kids in the cul-de-sac that know that I'm a cartoonist and work in the animation industry. And so I was doing my grocery shopping or some mundane thing, and driving through the parking lot, and a bunch of them were out for a bicycle ride together. And they all said, "Hi, Larry!" And I felt like a celebrity for about 5 seconds. So, is that fulfilling?
Is it?
I don't know.
If it made
It
you
was-
feel good,
it
it
did,
is. You know, if it
And
brings
Larry's
joy.
and Larry's done shows at galleries for me, and you know the little young guys that come up and
Yeah, yeah.
they love, you know, like you worked on this. Can you?
I like talking
Yeah,
to
and,
people
and
that
they're
like
very
animation.
you're very generous with your time.
Well, if
all,
a kid
all
appreciates
ages,
it,
all
it's a
ages
beautiful
of
thing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
you are.
Everybody likes to draw, whether they know it or not.
Or tries to do
Yeah.
it.
So,
Well, thank you so much for your
Sure.
time. And, you know, you guys, you should probably go check out, certainly, the Nightmare special, because we keep hearing about it here. It's all the animators' favorites. But you know, go back and watch a few of your old favorites, because there were a lot of animators who really found a lot of joy in creating them for fans. And we thank you very much for being a part of that. It's very much appreciated. So for more information, you can go on Art Insights, and there will be other informational videos about other artists and things having to do with Bill Melendez and the Peanuts cartoons. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.